Hi, it's Jane O'Halloran, founder of Anxiety Escape the Cage. I'm doing this live video today on my phone. There seems to be a bit of an issue with Facebook and live videos and my laptop, so they're not happy with each other. Anyway, welcome to this live video. It's good to see you. And I want to talk about a biggie really, about feeling good enough. Goodness, you know, that's been a big one in my life. And somebody commented the other day that they've just kind of realised that they've never felt good enough. And that's quite a brave thing to admit to yourself, let alone to anybody else. It's quite a difficult thing to admit, isn't it? It's almost like a bit of could be seen as admission of failure somehow. I've never felt good enough. But only when you realise that can you move forward. And sometimes it's sort of there under the surface. I don't know about you, but I have moments where I'll suddenly see something clearly and it's like, how come I didn't realise this all along? You know, it's under the surface. And I suddenly see it and I go, oh my God, I've been living with this for insert number of years. What's going on? How did I not see this? And so, you know, I think to help you think, well, is this something that relates to me? There are questions you can ask yourself. So, do you keep searching for love and approval from other people, but never quite get that? It's always like other people let you down. You never kind of get what you need from other people. Or do you feel scared to let people see the real you, fearing that you're going to be judged and found wanting, and almost like you're carrying around this shameful secret? Feels heavy and painful to carry it around. I know I've done that. I think for me that was the root of my anxiety. And you know, perhaps you've pushed these feelings down most of your life because they're just, let's face it, they can be really painful to look at. So you've pushed them down, but perhaps in midlife they've come up to the surface again. They're starting to rise up because of all sorts of things that go on in midlife, the menopause, the change of life changes, and we perhaps are not as focused on things that we were, like bringing up children, for example. And that shift moves us out of our comfort zone, and we're like, oh my goodness, this stuff comes up. And sometimes it can be really like, where did that come from? I didn't realise. But actually, when you look back, you realise you have been carrying that around with you for quite a long time. So, and the other question I think is, you know, do you always end up sabotaging in some way your happiness, your relationships? And I think if you can answer yes to most or some of those questions, I think that there's a chance that you are deep down feeling not good enough. And that's completely natural in our society. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just that the way we've been programmed. But it sits in there, and it's like it causes lots of problems. It causes anxiety. It restricts your life, you know. It's like there's a part of you, and you don't feel good enough. It's like you don't feel like you deserve to be loved. You don't deserve happiness. You don't deserve the good things. And so it's this thing that stops you letting that in. It's kind of this, almost like this evil presence. I don't like the word evil, but that's what came to my mind. It's almost like this thing inside that goes, no, you don't, this judgment, this criticism, you don't deserve that. And on one level, you think, well, I want the happiness. I want relationships that fulfill me. I want to have a happy life. But on another level, there's a part of you saying, you don't deserve that. So you always sabotage it because deep down you feel like you don't deserve it. You don't let that in. You don't let in love from other people. You don't let yourself be happy. You always do something that stops it, and there's always seems to be a rational explanation in your mind. Your mind comes up with an excuse, but deep down it's coming from this not feeling worthy of that love, of that happiness. So we can do all of these things in the outside world, but unless we change something deep inside, nothing's going to change. But once you do make that change, you don't have to be perfect, but you'll feel okay with you. You'll feel happy with you as you are, and you'll start to feel able to let that happiness in. You'll start to feel able to have fulfilling relationships. Things will just change. And let me tell you a secret. This is something that it sounds so obvious, but it was a bit of a revelation to me. It's like, you don't have to be perfect to be loved. I'll say that again. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. And, oh gosh, it can hit home that, can't it? It sounds crazy. It's like, well, I know that really, but for me, that was what I was carrying around. I carried that around for many years, and it stopped me. It restricted my life. I always felt that if there was a disagreement, for example, between me and someone else, or someone had a different opinion, I kind of always felt like that other person must be right because my opinion wasn't worth anything. And that was just a fact. Other people are better than me. I didn't even realise. I went for many years not even realising I thought like that and that it was a problem. I just didn't. It was just because that's how I'd always been. I didn't even see that as an issue until I could step back and look at it. And it did, it held me back. I mean, God, I remember when I was a kid, I was always too scared to have a birthday party. I just was worried that no one would turn up I remember, I never wanted one. I did want a birthday party, but I was always scared to have one. I remember, as a teenager having really crippling self-doubt. And as an adult, staying in situations and relationships that were way too long, that didn't serve me. All because I didn't feel worthy of my happiness. I didn't feel good enough. Yeah, it's a big one, isn't it? Until I changed on the inside. So I think, first of all, acknowledging this can be a big thing. Realising it's an issue and knowing that you deserve happiness and fulfillment and love, and to wake up excited about your day. And I know you probably do want all those things. You want the best for yourself, but deep down you're sabotaging that because you don't feel you're worth it, or it's just too scary to create change. And you won't experience it like that. You won't be thinking, oh, I'm sabotaging myself, or I'm not worthy, or I'm too scared to create change. You won't be thinking that. What will happen is your mind, which is a very sneaky character, will be just coming up with excuses that seem absolutely plausible why you can't do something. You know, and you'll listen to that voice and it will say, well, you can't do that because you've got this, this and this to do. But really, they're excuses. And it's that deep down voice. Fear, that inner child that's saying, it's too scary, or you don't deserve it. So just be aware of that. Next time you make an excuse, or, you know, next time you're stopping yourself doing something which you know it will help you, just think a bit deeper about that. Is that an excuse? And it can seem very plausible. And yes, there may be good reasons. But are you always coming up with those reasons, those excuses? Is that a pattern for you? Notice that pattern, because that will give you a clue as to what's going on inside. And suddenly you might have a light bulb go on. Oh my goodness, this is what's happening. So, you know, if you're interested to know a bit more, if you want to feel fulfilled in your life, to get that happiness that you deserve, that your heart is yearning for, to wake up excited, to get the love that you deserve. If you're fed up of those excuses and you want to know more about how to do that, just send me a message. One step. Before you talk yourself out of it, one step. Take that one step, send me a message, and then as you take that step, you can start to head in the right direction. So I hope that's been helpful for you today. I hope perhaps a little light bulb has gone on. It's been great to connect with you. Feel free to contact me, ask me any questions, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Love and light.